Welcome to Yibo Universe. Don't forget to subscribe, like and share this video with your friends. The soft glow of the lanterns cast dancing shadows across the ancient tea table, laden with celebratory dishes. Wang Yibo raised his delicate cup, a faint smile playing on his lips. Xiao Zhan, seated opposite him, returned the gesture, his eyes warm with shared understanding. This wasn't just another night, it was the anniversary of the Untamed, a date etched into the very fabric of their lives, a quiet milestone they preferred to mark in solitude. "To 5 years," Zhan murmured, his voice a low, resonant hum. "To 5 lifetimes," Yibo replied, his gaze unwavering. As their cups clinked, the delicate sound didn't just echo in the room, it reverberated. Not audibly, but sensorily. A faint, sweet scent of lotus blossoms, utterly alien to their city apartment, drifted through the air, followed by the crisp, cool aroma of mountain mist. The familiar clatter of distant traffic outside faded, replaced by the faint, ethereal sound of a Wuxian string humming in the breeze, and the playful trill of a dizzy flute. The air itself shimmered, as if woven with invisible threads of memory and yearning. Zhan's hand, resting on the table, felt a subtle vibration, as if the very wood had begun to pulse with a hidden energy. This wasn't just a nostalgic aroma, it was a direct sensory imprint, pulling them into the world they had once inhabited, a mind-blowing atmospheric shift that spoke of forgotten lands and resonant destinies. "It feels different tonight," Zhan whispered, his eyes wide, looking around the subtly shifting room. Yibo nodded, his gaze distant, already attuned to the deeper currents. "The veil is thin. They're here." He didn't mean fans. He meant the echoes of the world they had brought to life, the characters, the emotions, the very spiritual energy of the story. As if on cue, the light in the room intensified, not from the lanterns, but from within the air itself. It coalesced into shimmering, transparent outlines. Not ghosts, but spectral projections of familiar figures. Wuxian, mischievous and vibrant, leaned against a phantom tree, his red ribbon fluttering. Wangji, stoic and elegant, stood beside a glimmering Wuxian, his eyes filled with quiet devotion. Other figures, glimpses of their beloved characters, Zhangcheng, Lan Shichen, Wen Ning, flickered in and out of existence, translucent and ethereal, observing them with knowing smiles. The apartment had become a liminal space, a bridge between realities, where the characters from their past, the very essence of the Untamed, manifested as silent, glowing witnesses to their bond. The scene was breathtaking, a mind-blowing fusion of fiction and reality, a testament to the enduring power of the narrative they had embodied. Yibo reached out, his fingers passing through the shimmering form of Wangji. He closed his eyes, and the air filled with an unadulterated sensation of shared memory. It wasn't just seeing the characters, it was feeling their presence, feeling the weight of their journeys, their sacrifices, their unwavering devotion. Zhan, too, closed his eyes, and a wave of profound, empathetic resonance washed over him. He felt the pure, defiant joy of Wuxian, the heartbreak, the loyalty, the unyielding spirit. It was an overwhelming, beautiful deluge of emotion, a direct, raw download of the soul of the story they had poured their hearts into. Millions of fans across the globe, at that exact moment, felt a sudden, inexplicable surge of emotion. A tear, a shiver, a wave of profound connection to the Untamed, unaware that its true heart was beating in a quiet apartment across the world. Then, as their combined focus deepened, the spectral figures began to merge. Wuxian and Wangji didn't just stand side by side. Their forms flowed into each other, their colors blending, their spiritual energies interweaving. The red ribbon and the white headpiece became one, a shimmering, impossible blend. Their faces, so distinct, dissolved into a singular androgynous visage of profound beauty, a perfect synthesis of their two souls. This entity, pulsing with a radiant golden light, represented the ultimate, inseparable bond of their characters, a physical manifestation of a love that transcended life and death, friendship and brotherhood. It was the very embodiment of the story's soul, brought to life before their eyes, a mind-blowing symbolic fusion that pulsed with cosmic significance. The merged entity reached out, not to them, but to the center of the tea table. A shimmering, ethereal energy flowed from its hands, condensing into a single radiant pearl of light. The pearl pulsed, growing in size, until it became a spherical, living map. But this wasn't a geographical map. It was a cosmic tapestry of the Untamed Fandom. Each shimmering point of light on its surface was a fan, a viewer, a heart touched by their story. They saw clusters of lights in distant continents, flowing rivers of connection across oceans, and vibrant constellations forming where groups of fans gathered. As the sphere rotated, they could hear, faintly, the echoes of countless voices, laughter, tears, excited chatter, the psychic resonance of billions of hearts intertwined by the drama. It was the collective heartbeat of their fandom, made visible and tangible, a profound, humbling, mind-blowing scene of the ripple effect their work had created across the globe. The sphere of fandom glowed, then slowly began to recede, drawing back into the core of the merged character essence. The entity bowed, a silent, graceful gesture, before dissolving back into shimmering light, fading away like mist. The spectral figures of their friends followed, winking out of existence, leaving the apartment bathed once more in the soft glow of the lanterns. The scent of lotus and mountain mist lingered, faint but undeniable. The Wuxian and dizzy echoes settled into the quiet hum of the apartment. Everything seemed normal, yet nothing was. The tea on the table, which had been warm, now shimmered with faint, iridescent lines. Yibo raised his cup, and the liquid within pulsed with a soft, inner light, reflecting Zhan's face in its depths, outlined in the faint, lingering glow of starlight. "Happy anniversary, Yibo," Zhan whispered, his voice thick with emotion, his eyes shining with profound wonder. Yibo smiled, a rare, open, heartfelt expression. "Happy anniversary, Zhanji." He looked at the subtle shimmer on the tea, at the faint, lingering glow in the air, and knew that some stories didn't just exist on screen. Some, like theirs, transcended it, becoming a living, breathing part of the universe, shaping reality itself. And their celebration today was a beautiful, mind-blowing testament to that eternal truth. Stay tuned to Yibo Zhan Universe for updates, exclusive breakdowns, and emotional reactions as the story unfolds. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, because this miracle might just be real. The last spectral glow of the ethereal figures had long faded, leaving the apartment bathed in the familiar, soft light of the lanterns. But the air was no longer just air. It was thick with a profound, lingering warmth, a scent of ancient forests and sweet flowers that stubbornly clung to every surface. Wang Yibo watched as Xiao Zhan lifted his teacup, its contents still shimmering with faint, iridescent lines. The anniversary wasn't over. It had simply transitioned. When Zhan tilted the cup to drink, he paused. The surface of the tea wasn't reflecting his face. It was reflecting a perfect, miniature image of the serene, elegant Jingshi, the very room where Lon Wangji had spent so many silent, contemplative hours. The scene was not static. He could see a faint, flickering flame in the brazier, the dust motes dancing in a beam of sunlight. It was a perfect, living window into a world that should have been gone. He held the cup up for Yibo, and together, they saw themselves reflected not in their apartment, but in the serene elegance of the cloud recesses, their modern clothes a jarring contrast to the ancient setting. Every object they now interacted with was a potential conduit to a parallel reality, a subtle, constant, mind-blowing reminder that their world was no longer just their own. "It's not just a memory anymore," Yibo said, his voice a low, reverent hum. "It's a part of us. We've woven it into our world." A new, exhilarating realization dawned on them. The anniversary had been a ceremony, not just of celebration, but of purpose. The overwhelming energy, the collective consciousness of the fandom, and their own profound bond had given them a new ability, to consciously bridge the gap between their reality and the world they had once inhabited. They stood, their hands finding each other. They didn't need to speak. Their shared thought was a singular, powerful intention. With a focused, shared will, they channeled the lingering magic. The walls of their apartment began to soften, the edges of the corners blurring. The furniture, instead of dissolving into chaos, slowly, gracefully began to transform. The sleek lines of their sofa curved and morphed into the polished, dark wood of the Jingshi's benches. The television screen dissolved, its frame becoming a shimmering waterfall that descended into a pond of clear, tranquil water. The apartment was not being replaced, it was being seamlessly fused with the iconic location from the drama. The floor remained solid, but now it was a perfect, polished reflection of the serene elegance of the Jingshi. The air, already thick with the scent of memory, filled with the faint, soothing fragrance of sandalwood. They were in their home, yet they were standing within a sacred space from their past. The reality was a perfect, beautiful blend, a mind-blowing creation that was both here and there, a physical testament to a love that could bring two worlds together. But the most mind-blowing scene of all was yet to come. They stood together in their newly created space, the fusion of their past and present, when a faint, shimmering light began to condense in the center of the room. It was not a spectral outline, not a ghost of a memory. It was solidifying, becoming a physical, living being. The light formed into the gentle, familiar figure of Lan Shichen. He stood there, his robes flowing, his expression one of profound peace and serene wisdom. He wasn't a projection or an echo. He was real. A tangible creation born from the depth of their love and the spiritual energy they had summoned. He looked at them, a warm, knowing smile on his lips. "It seems," he said, his voice as gentle and melodic as they remembered, "that you two have finally found your home." Zhan's breath hitched, tears welling in his eyes. He stumbled forward, reaching out a trembling hand. The hand he touched was real, warm, and solid. The grief, the joy, the love he had for this character, this friend, this soul from a world-long past, overwhelmed him. They had not just created a place, they had, for a fleeting, impossible moment, brought back a cherished soul. It was a profound, utterly mind-blowing reunion that transcended the boundaries of life, death, and fiction. Lan Shichen smiled, his eyes holding an ancient understanding. "The power you share is greater than you know. It can mend worlds, and it can bring back what is lost. Your love is not just a force, it is a creative energy." He bowed slightly, a gesture of deep reverence, before his form began to subtly shimmer, a million tiny motes of light returning to the air. "The time is not yet right for such a reunion to last. But know that your home is now always where you are, together." He dissolved into light, leaving behind only the lingering scent of his presence. The Jingshi fusion of the apartment slowly faded as well, the walls returning to their normal, solid state, the water dissolving back into air. They were back in their living room, the lanterns casting their normal, soft light. Yibo and Xiao stood there, silent for a long moment, the scent of sandalwood still faintly lingering, the memory of Lan Shichen's voice still echoing in their hearts. The anniversary was a ritual, a ceremony of remembrance, but it had unlocked something far greater than nostalgia. It had unlocked their true potential. They were no longer just two actors, a couple. They were the custodians of a story, the anchors of a spiritual energy that could bring forgotten worlds to life and manifest a love so powerful it could bring back what was lost. Their anniversary, they now understood, was not just a celebration of the past, but a commencement of a magical future.